Welcome to Lesson 9.2, Asset Security Domain, Review and Study Roadmap. The ISC² Asset Security Domain is covered in Lessons 2.1 through 2.5 of this course, and there are three categories in this domain: classifying and managing assets, protecting privacy, and data security controls. So we're going to go and look at each of those categories and see what the applicable topics are. There are two lessons for classifying and managing assets, Lesson 2.1 and Lesson 2.2. Lesson 2.1, we study asset classification, the FIPS, Federal Information Processing Standards 199 classifications. We look at national security classifications and private sector classifications. And then in 2.2, our topics include asset owners and the roles and responsibilities, asset custodian and their role and responsibility, asset management, which includes lifecycle management, inventory management of both hardware and software, and then configuration management. In the second category, protecting privacy, we have one lesson, that's Lesson 2.3. This is where we define PI, PII, and PPI, personal information, personally identifiable information, non-public personal information, but understand what the components are. We look at privacy protections, we look at privacy frameworks, and then we study the OECD privacy principles. And then we end this lesson with looking at privacy policies and statements. In the third category, data security controls, we have two lessons, Lesson 2.4 and Lesson 2.5. In Lesson 2.4, we look at what happens to data at end of life, including archiving and retention. We study e-discovery and the federal rules of civil procedure, data deletion and data remnants, and then best practices around data destruction. In Lesson 2.5, we're looking at some data security controls, how to select the controls. We get introduced to encryption as the universal control, labeling, and handling standards. So again, Lesson 2.4 and 2.5 both are about data security controls. So those are the three categories and the 5 lessons in the asset security domain. It's important that you are comfortable and confident with all of these topics, so you can use this information to design your study plan or revisit topics that you may have already studied. In our next lesson, we'll be looking at the categories and topics for the security engineering domain.